from like 12 until 2:30, and then I had orchestra at 2:30 till 5:30. And I remember I had to be at orchestra. There was like, you don't call out of orchestra class, right? But I was so exhausted because I didn't get proper sleep, and I begged my roommates to wake me up at 2, latest 2:15, because I had to. It only took me like 10 minutes to get to orchestra, and then I needed the 5 minutes to like set up and relax and breathe. Anyway, they told me, I recruited 3 people to try and wake me up. 3. And they told me that they poked me, they yelled at me, they threw water on my hands, they threw water on my face, they rolled me over, they lifted me up and threw me back in the bed, they lifted me up and threw me on the floor, then they picked me up and put me back in the bed, and I was still sleeping. And I was late to orchestra, and I got in a lot of trouble that day. I don't remember it at all. And even to this day, like, I have to be really conscious about how I sleep and make sure I get an like X amount of sleep, or else I will not wake up. I do not hear my alarms. There have been days, like, I actually like super messed up the first summer of the pandemic, because it was our very, like, we had to resort to online learning, right? And we went March, April, May, June, all swiveled like immediately to Zoom private lessons, and that was fine. The after schools program had to suffer because like they were coming up with however to deal with it. Anyway, they asked me to they asked me to do the welcoming class, which basically was only a half hour at 7:30 in the morning every weekday in the summer that year. And I was like, oh yeah, I can totally do that, because I used to wake up at 7:30 to make sure I got to teaching at like 8:15 at a different school. But because I lived in a basement studio and I didn't really have windows, I didn't get any sunlight, so like all sense of time and existence just kind of like stopped for me during the pandemic. I like didn't know when it was daytime, didn't know when it was nighttime. And so one day I think I went to bed at like 4 on a Thursday, and I was like, okay, if I get 3 hours of sleep, that'll be fine, because at least it's one sleep cycle. And I don't know what happened, but I did not hear any of my alarms. I heard nothing, and I woke up at 8, and I was like, hello? I felt so bad, because like, anyway, I got in a lot of trouble because I did not wake up for my half-hour class. And that was like one of my only forms of income that summer. So it kind of sucked. I think I was actually, yeah, I remember now, because that happened to me twice. I got taken off for the rest of the summer, so I had no work at all that August. I forgot about that. Made it through. I don't know, Colin. My apartment still doesn't get that much sunlight. And I have been going to bed at like 8 in the morning. Anyway, it got so bad that I had to order a vibrating alarm clock. Thanks, Warhol. Let me see if I can look it up real quick. Yeah. It's called the Sonic Bomb. Excuse me. And it comes with a bed shaker. I'll show you guys. Excuse me. Wait, hold on. I forgot Amazon might have my address on it, so actually it probably won't. Is this my Twitch one? But yeah, so this thing right here, you guys can't see it, but it's this thing right here. You see like the little circle thing next to the alarm clock? It has like a wire that's like 10-15 feet long, so you can literally put the alarm clock like somewhere else and put this thing on. It's supposed to go under your bed. I was such a heavy sleeper that I needed it in my pillow. I literally like stuffed it in my pillow. I was like like unzip, like open the zipper, and I was like get in there. And I needed it like on my head. Like I had to sleep on top of it to make sure that I would actually wake up, because I was living alone and I couldn't rely on anyone else. You had an alarm clock that would gradually start getting brighter like 10 minutes before it would go off. It was actually a pretty good way to wake up. Oh, I'm so jealous. I'm so jealous. I don't think there's like anything I can do. Hold on. They were the best time of your life. You started fulfilling your dreams. Was more confident, happier, and more studious than ever before. I'm really grateful that the pandemic did that for you, because you deserve it. So yeah, now the bad thing about this alarm clock though is because it has that like long ass freaking wire. I've tripped on it like a zillion times, and so now the snooze button is broken. So I'm very scared to use it because I use snooze a lot. And because I can't snooze it, I have to turn it off and make sure I set it again for another like 8 minutes.